Hello and welcome to Cultivated World. Today we'll be looking at the somewhat controversial Rolex Air-King. This is very much something that we would describe as a Marmite watch. People either love it or they hate it. Every year after Rolex announced its new models at Baselworld, the naysayers always say that Rolex never really introduces anything new. They say that Rolex rests on its laurels and only really makes small updates of existing model. Well, in 2016, they introduced the Rolex Air-King reference 116900. Launched in the 1950s, Air-Kings of old have always been much more classical in design, without the quirkiness of the current model. And that's no bad thing. However, with the current lineup including the Oyster Perpetual, the Explorer and the plethora of Datejust, I feel Rolex needed to create something unique with the new Air-King in order to justify its very existence within the range. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, that logo. There is currently no other Rolex model available that has the Rolex logo in green and the crown in yellow.
Join the club, we've got jackets.
Which I think would have some appeal to a younger audience. That being said, whenever Rolex uses green on a watch, it is very desirable amongst collectors. The most obvious examples are the green Submariner and the yellow gold Daytona with green dial, which was hyped up by John Mayer recently. Admittedly, the Air-King hasn't seen nearly as much success as those other models, and is in much less demand. That being said, this could be a sleeper watch. I mean, look at the original Daytonas when they were very first released. They weren't very well received and took some time before they really took off. And now, it's almost like you need to make a deal with the devil in order to get hold of one. Moving on to the Air-King logo. This has the same font as the original Air-King from the 1950s. I really wonder how this was received back then. Was it seen as something cool and fresh? Maybe something even rebellious back then? And talking about fonts, if you look at the dial now, how many different fonts can you see? Let me give you a second. Yes, that's right. There are 5 fonts. That's a lot, and many would say too much. The markers are split between painted minutes and 18-karat white gold applied hours at 3, 6 and 9, which are very similar to the Explorer but without any lume. I think it would have been very interesting to see all the markers as minutes rather than being split between hours and minutes. What do you guys think? Now you may ask, what was Rolex thinking with this design? Well, the Air-King is actually an homage to the SSC Bloodhound supersonic car, which Rolex was a sponsor of and actually created the dials for the cockpit. If the Bloodhound breaks the 763 mph land speed record, it will surely make the Air-King substantially more collectible. The Air-King features a COSC certified caliber 3131 movement, which has a power reserve of 48 hours, which is housed in a 40mm Oyster steel case. These are the same movement and case used in the more expensive Milgauss, so you benefit from all the same anti-magnetic properties, but makes you wonder why you'd pay the extra money for a Milgauss. I don't know. I'll leave that to the YouTube gurus to answer in the comment section. So, with all things considered, what do you think about the Rolex Air-King? Do you think that the dial works with the reference to the Bloodhound? Or is Rolex trying too hard to force this idea? Also, if the Bloodhound is successful at breaking the land speed record, how will this have an impact on the value of the watch? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching us at Cultivated World. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more, please like and subscribe to ensure you don't miss any of our future content.